his ankle is swollen. He did not practice yesterday, so we'll see how he feels today. We expect him to play tomorrow, but I think he was in quite a bit of pain playing in the second half the other day, but he was able to get through it and help us win. He did experience some swelling after the game, and like I said, it kept him from practicing yesterday. So we'll see how he does today.
Virginia Tech still the tentative target for Ryan?
No, it's not looking good for that. We could be looking at a couple more weeks. They're saying that the bone has not healed yet, and so we're I mean, and we were dealing with a stress fracture. It wasn't a stress reaction, which was, we knew that. We were hoping 4 weeks, but it's probably looking more like it will be closer to 6.
What you got from Justice against Boston College, is that something that have you been seeing that improvement in practice, and then this was the first time it kind of showed in the game, or was that something that maybe it was the first time you'd seen?
Yeah, no, he had shot the ball last week well in practice, and again, I think that shooting the ball well in a game comes from shooting it consistently in practice most of the time, and so a guy can jump up and have a game, but he's started to make open shots with regularity in practice, and so again, you just kind of wondered when it would happen for him in a game, and fortunately it was the other night.
Going back to the last 3 games, are you seeing more of a jump with your kids, more energy, more enthusiasm?
I felt like we made progress in that 3-game road trip. I thought we played hard and competed well in all 3 games, and unfortunately didn't get the result in the first 2 that we wanted. But I felt like there was sustained good play at times, and so, you know, for us it still comes back to can we defend well enough to give our offense a chance to win the game, and you know, we were able to at Boston College. Obviously, it helped that Mike got 30, but we gave ourselves a chance at Carolina. Had a chance at Duke, but they hit those threes on us in the second half and hurt. But anyway, we've made progress as a team, but now we need that to continue forward, and we need to be able to take it against you know, Syracuse tomorrow and play better and attack the zone better, and maybe a little bit more like we did in the second half of that game up there, and do a much better job defensively than we did up there the first time.
What are you seeing in Syracuse lately? Basically, they've obviously, I think they're 5 in a row, something like that. What have you seen from them? What's changed in them?
You know, I wouldn't be able to tell you what's changed in them the last couple of weeks, because when we saw them, they were fantastic. So, you know, you just kind of tend to watch games, and after we were finished playing them, then, you know, we were finished playing them, and now we're playing them again. So they just do what they do well. They've got very talented offensive players. They can score on every position on the floor. They obviously have figured out the zone and are playing their zone better than they were earlier in the season. And so, you know, they've kind of shortened up their rotation a little bit, and I think that looks like it's helped them. But I mean, I think they only played 6 guys against us in the first game. So it's a little easier to do when you play 40 minutes of zone, but you know, their zone's formidable, obviously, and we'll have to attack it well and much better than we did in the first game, but you know, again, they're talented on both ends. They're really talented on offense, and so we'll see what happens.
As far as attacking the zone, Kevin, what didn't you do the first time?
Well, in the first half, we kind of stood around and we didn't attack. That's kind of what we didn't do. And in the second half, we started driving the ball at the basket and got to the foul line more, and that created some openings for us. But we just have to be a little more free, a little more. You got to penetrate it when you can, we had a number of shots right around the goal that were blocked. I mean, we had some layup opportunities that were missed because we got our shots blocked. So when you get those chances, you got to capitalize on them. But hopefully we'll be able to move them and penetrate them and get the ball where we need it to be, and then make some shots when we get those opportunities.
Cam Johnson had a ton of attempts against North Carolina. I don't even think as many over the last 2 games combined as he had in that game. What changes when he has one of those games where he's getting to put up his shot a lot versus the games that he doesn't?
Well, I think that there are various things. Sometimes it's the defense. Sometimes it's maybe Cam not pursuing opportunities as aggressively as he needs to. So it's usually comes down to one of those two things. And Duke did a really good job of getting into him and trying to take away his shot. At Boston College the other night, they were into him as well, but that opened up things for Mike, and Mike was able to take advantage. And so, Cam's obviously got a reputation as a good shooter, so he has to work hard to get those shots.
Syracuse and Pitt, of course, came to the ACC together. Obviously, you didn't coach in the Big East, and it's your first year in this league. But even when you were at Vanderbilt in the SEC, what was sort of the perception of those two leagues, I guess, from a coaching standpoint?
You mean
stylistically?
The Big East and the ACC?
Yeah.
Well, I think in the Big East in those days, of course, the game was being officiated much differently then, but it seemed like there were a lot of really low-scoring, 50-point close games, and the ACC is, and whether it's because of Carolina and Duke or even other teams in other years, you go back to Bobby Crimmon's days at Georgia Tech, the ACC always seemed like it was more of a free-flowing offensive league and higher scoring, and the old Big East just used to seem like a 50-point game waiting to happen, and really, from my perspective, pretty boring. I was never trying to carve out time to watch a Big East game on television, but they had great teams and had great success, but. And I don't pay much attention to, it seems like the Big East scores are higher now, too. So maybe the way the game's being officiated, that style of play sort of went out with that, with the changes in the rules and how the game is called. But just seemed like the ACC was a little bit more offensive to me.
Can you recall within the coaching community sort of what the reaction was to Pitt and Syracuse?
No, I don't think, unless you were really close to it, there was so much movement going on at that time that everybody wondered. I think at one point I wondered when it was all going to stop, but I didn't. It wasn't because of Pitt and Syracuse moving. It was because of, all of the stuff going on in the landscape of college basketball, college athletics.
I want to go back to what you said about them figuring out their zone. Obviously, they've been playing that thing for a long time, but obviously every new group of kids has to kind of figure it out and figure out where they're strong with it. How have you, when you say figured out, what do you see?
I can't say what they've done. I just know that early in the season, Coach Boeheim apparently didn't feel like they were playing it very well, and so they seem to have figured some things out that way and are playing it better. That's but again, I'm basing my comment off of something I saw him say, and obviously they've won 5 in a row, and so they're probably getting a lot of things figured out. I don't know what all they are. Like I said, I I'm always uncomfortable commenting on somebody else's team because I'm not there every day in practice, so I don't know what they're doing or what's going on with them.
What you just said kind of intrigued me. What would people say about your team if they could watch you every day in practice?
I'm not sure. I would say that they would say we practice hard. Would say that we can't practice long because we don't have enough depth to practice for very long. I don't know. I don't know what else I would say to that. Some days are better than others.
Are the practices getting better as the team has been getting better?
You know, at this time of year, my number one goal is to get the team to the game healthy and fresh. And so I wouldn't say that we're practicing long enough to know if the team is practicing better. I think there are times when we look really good in practice, but I think that's been going on all season. We've had times where we look really good, and then times where, and maybe in the same day, where we don't. So, but maybe we're achieving a little bit more consistency, and maybe that's what's allowing for a little more consistency in the game right now.